In this tutorial, I'll explain how to create a Node-RED flow that will allow you to take pictures from your Tello drone that you can view in a dashboard or save to your Pi. Begin by clicking on the name of your flow and changing it to something fitting, perhaps Tello camera dashboard. Then we're going to drag in all the nodes you'll need for the first third of the flow. 2 inject nodes, 2 button nodes, a change node, two function nodes, and then a UDP out node. Begin by configuring the first inject node. This will be Boolean true and name it connect. The second inject node will be your take photo node, and we chose Boolean true as the payload there too. The buttons are your way on the dashboard of telling your drone to connect or take pictures, so they will be very much the same. You can create a new UI group for this new flow. Perhaps you'd like to name it photos. And then you can also create a new UI tab if you want. Perhaps you'd like to name the tab Tello camera dashboard. Click update or done and add. And there you see that you now have your group photos, which will be within the tab or screen of the Tello camera dashboard. Done. Now do the same on your second node. You should be able to scroll down and find your group inside a tab you just chose. Payload shall be Boolean true again. And for this one, name it take picture. Next, you're going to need to configure this change node. It's for take picture, and you're going to need to set message payload to the J expression of this, which I'll leave in the description, or you can get off your course on the website. Next are the 2 function nodes. Double click on the top one first. This function should be named something to the extent of send connection or a request. And you're going to want the following text in the function. Again, this can be in the description or on the website. For this, you want exactly 1 output. Click done. And then we need to configure the second function node. Name this one take picture and paste the following text. Again, you will be looking for exactly 1 output. Next, configure your UDP node. You're looking to send a UDP message to port 8889 with the address of 192.168.10.1 using the IPv4 protocol and binding to a non-random local port. Click done. Then attach everything up like so. we've configured the nodes for the first part of 3 of this flow, getting the messages to connect or take a picture to the drone. Next, we're going to look at receiving the messages or pictures, and third, saving and sending the pictures to the dashboard. It's a good time right now to click deploy just in case you end up exiting or something. Your first third of the flow is saved. For section 2, you're going to want to drag a UDP in node into the flow, as well as 3 function nodes. Switch node. Two debug nodes. A change node. And 2 link out nodes, as well as 1 link in node we were waiting to configure over here by the take picture. Configure the UDP in node. We want to listen for UDP messages on port 52955 using the IPv4 protocol and looking for an output of a buffer. Click Done. Then format this function node. It's going to be used to parse the incoming messages, and you're going to want to paste this text, which will be available in the description or on the website. For this, only 1 output is needed. Then configure the switch node. You want it modifying the property payload message.payload.cmd first should be equals. The first rule should be equals some number 86 going to the rule 1 slot. Rule 2, which you add with the button down here, should be equals number 26. Third equals number 53. Fourth equals number 4176. Fifth equals number 96th equals number 99. Seventh equals number 48. And our 8th and last thing will be otherwise. Click Done. Then you want to move things around so they all fit, and set up these functions. The top one for the 4th slot. Next for our 5th, then the debug nodes in the last 2. This top function node is to have this text pasted into it, and it's for unpacking file size message. one output. Click done. Our second is for unpacking file data message. Paste this text. Have one output. And both these message payloads should be set for complete message objects to the debug window. Next, configure this change node. You're going to want to paste a J expression in here that will acknowledge the message to the drone, and this keeps it from sending it like gazillions of times. And then check out your link out nodes. Go down to whatever you named your flow, should be Tello camera dashboard. Click checkbox, and again, click checkbox. They should both link up with the link in node over here. Perfect. Then connect it to the take picture function node. Now, the UDP node here should be connected to parse messages to switch, file size message to acknowledge message to the link out node, and then unpacking file data message to the other link out node. Here I realize we actually needed two outputs because we need the link out node to also hear about that message. Now let's click deploy to save our work before we move on from originally sending the drone messages. Now we received messages, and we need that last part of taking the photos out of the messages we're receiving and then doing stuff on the dashboard and with your Pi. Before we go drag in all our nodes for this third part, go up to your hamburger menu and click Manage Palette. Then click over into Install, and you're going to need to search Base64. Then click Install, and it will be installed onto your palette. Also, do the same with fs-ops, and this is a file system operations package. Install that, and then continue. Mine looked a little different because I've already installed the necessary nodes. Drag a link in node, a encode node, which encode should a base64 node into your flow, which we will be using for encoding and should just now be coming available since you installed it. Go ahead, connect that to the link node. Then drag in an inject node, a file node, a change node, a move FS file system operation move node, a template node from the dashboard section, and then we'll go on to configure the nodes. This link in node, we're going to connect only to your unpacking file data message. Then your base64 node should configure it with the default settings and name it in code. Click Done. Then move over to your File node. Here, you're going to want to come up with a path for your file. I suggest home/pi/photos, and then I'll name my photo Tello. You're going to need to overwrite the file and create the directory if it doesn't exist. The encoding type should be base64, and you can name it send to file. The one issue here is your photo will be deleted and a new one put in its place every time you take a photo, configured this way. So our solution is using a file move node. And you're going to want to name it move, use a source path, the same path you put in the send file. So here it'll be home/pi/photos, and then the file name is the Tello that was on the end. The destination path, I'm going to keep it in the photos folder with home/pi/photos. And the destination file name is going to be message.payload. And that's because we want a dynamic file name, one that's going to change all the time. So we never have two files named the same thing where one gets deleted. And this payload is actually going to be a timestamp coming in from the timestamp node. In order for files never to get deleted, you're going to need to repeat this at an interval, and the interval needs to be the smallest amount of time between you'd ever take pictures. I don't think I'll be taking pictures more than every 1 second, so I'll leave it like so, and then connect that payload up to the file move. Our link needs to go to our encode to the send to file, and then move can be on its own. If you really want, you can add a debug just so you have info about what's going on, and that's going to save the file to our Pi. But we also want to see it on our dashboard. So we'll take this code, set it up to our change node, and here we're making file ready for the dashboard. And we're setting message.payload to a J expression, like so. Click Done. Hook that up to your template node and double click to open that. You're going to need to paste this text, which will be in the description or on the website, and make sure that your photo is going to preview in the correct group. For me, I'm going to go Tello camera dashboard photos, just like the buttons. Auto is perfect for the size, and then click Done. Now deploy, and you should have a flow that you can connect to either from the dashboard or with these inject nodes and take pictures from your Tello drone. If we head over here, we can see I have a few other tabs, but we're looking at the Tello camera dashboard. We have 2 buttons, which means we forgot to name them, so we can go back. Okay. Double click on our button and change the label here. Instead of the default button to connect, and on your second take picture one, make sure you also label the button take picture. Deploy again, and now you go to the correct tab, you have your flow. Our image isn't there yet because we don't have our drone on and connected. But what you want to do from here is connect it up to your Raspberry Pi just like you did with the takeoff and land program, and then use the buttons to take pictures, connect, and check out your photos here on the dashboard and back in your Home Pie Photos folder. Have fun!